inStriv has really been helping me to just take back and get those healthy habits and feel good about myself. And I do. I feel much better. My name is Brenda, and I've lost over 40 pounds in 6 months with the help of inStriv.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the inStriv Fat Loss Podcast. I am your host, Diane, a certified therapeutic weight loss specialist here at inStriv. I have Cammie, Dr. Atwater with us, who is here also. And then we have a very special guest this afternoon, and that is Nicole, who is one of our superstar clients who did amazing on the program, lost a lot of weight, had a great experience, still on her journey, but doing amazing thus far. And we wanted to share with all of our watchers and listeners what it actually looks like to be a client here. I know we do a lot of talking, we do a lot of explaining, but what is it like from the other side of things? And Nicole joined us today to give you some of that perspective. And Nicole, we are so grateful for you being here and joining us for this podcast today. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you. I'm pleased to be here. I'm very happy with my work with inStriv, so I'm glad to get to talk about it.
Oh, we appreciate you. Thank you. Well, if you don't mind, Nicole, what brought you here? Like, what was the catalyst that, I have to do this. This is what I want to do. Like, what was your why, if I can ask?
Sure. So my why is I have end-stage arthritis in both of my knees. So I'm very limited on the amount of exercise that I can do. And the doctors will not consider any kind of operation knee replacement until I lost weight. My husband and my mother were really pushing me to go for the weight loss drugs, and I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. And I saw your commercials and I thought, well, let me give this a try first. I love the holistic aspect of it. I like that it's drug free, and let me just see what I can do. And your support, the program, you guys make it very simple for us, with the binder, everything's there. The Facebook, the private group page, I combed through all those recipes to try to find things.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a
that would
lot
be
of good ones on there. I've honestly, even for me, someone who works with it here at inStriv, I've gone on there just seeing other things that Cammie or someone else has posted, and I've been like, wow, these look amazing. And I've tried them. They're great. They taste really good.
They really do, and they're easy. And I tend to be a picky eater. I don't like garlic. I don't like onion. So it was really just finding the things that would work for me. I use your pumpkin bake, where the pumpkin with the protein powder, I have that probably 4 to 5 times a week. It's one of my staple meals. It's real easy to prepare and do. You guys had that sun-dried tomato basil sauce for chicken, for whatever, there's just a lot of really good recipes in there. And I found
That's
that very
awesome.
helpful. As I was trying to change my eating habits, I had to find new things that I thought tasted good to me. And that
Sure.
was a really good resource for me.
Well, and I like it that you're kind of showing that side of things that, even if you are kind of a picky eater, that it
Hmm.
is something that someone who does have some food restrictions or things they're not fans of, that you can still do that it's not where you have to be willing to eat, weird foods that you're not that you just don't like or anything like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And just I've done all the other weight loss things. I've tried Weight Watchers, I've gone to Overeaters, like I've done all of the things out there. This was the simplest for me. It was easy. I understand we have to watch portions and you're weighing the meat to make sure you're not eating, but it was just a very simple, easy way to be able to make those changes without having to track, without having to write everything down. In the beginning, I know we do track a little bit, but it was very simple for me. And it really, once I learned that I could eat smaller portions and still feel okay, because I've always had protein, like I've always added protein things, because if I don't, like in breakfast, I could never just have pancakes because
Right.
my blood sugar would drop. And, so I learned that early on. So it was nice learning that I could have a smaller amount of protein and still feel okay and not have those highs and lows in the blood sugar as well.
Yeah. And as you were moving through things, Nicole, did you kind of find too that you just naturally didn't need those portion sizes or just weren't
Mhm.
craving the same things that you were eating before? Like, do you feel like that just naturally made a change in your body for you?
It did. It really did. And my husband is not doing the program, but he is the cook for the family. And just watching his portions compared to what I need, like you can see how easily, even in going out to restaurants now, how much food they give you. Like you really learn You don't need all this food. And your body does adjust to it naturally. And I felt better.
Good.
There's a lot of things that this program really helped me with health-wise. For example, I was taking pantoprazole because I was having this kind of weird gagging reaction with food and different things. I was able to wean myself off that through this program. I also learned that I have a gluten sensitivity. So I would have all these random rashes. The doctors could never tell me what anything was. When I got on, it took a while, but probably 4 or 5 months into it, the rash went away. And now it only, if I do go off and, eat something with gluten, then that comes back. So I learned that I have that gluten sensitivity as well. And I probably would have never known that if it wasn't for this program.
Mm.
Wow. I'm just wondering, how soon did you start to see some of the benefits once you started the program? Were there unexpected benefits? And how long did it take you to start seeing those?
I picked up the phone because heart disease and diabetes runs in my family, and I didn't want to go down that road. So I wanted to get myself healthy, and with the help of inStriv, I did get myself healthy. I'm Kyra. I lost 64 pounds in 8 months with the help of inStriv.
Were there unexpected benefits? And how long did it take you to start seeing those?
I would say probably in the 3 to 4 month mark. I
Oh,
think my body really had to detox. I ate badly. I was just really, pizza, mozzarella sticks, all the just junk food. I had a real addiction to that. So it took me a while for kind of my body to clean out. During the shake week, I really struggled. So I had to add a little bit of food. And with the coaching and with my coach working with me, we figured out what would work for me. But I would say definitely in that 3 to 4 month, I started tapering off the medication. Like I said, the rash went away. Like everything just really improved a lot.
It's amazing.
that's amazing.
It
Yeah.
really is. I'm so thankful for it.
Well, and what's interesting too is I love that you brought up the fact that you realized throughout the process that you had that gluten sensitivity. And I think one of the things that the program really highlights for people when we're eating a lot of poor foods and we don't really realize what they're doing with our body, what that impact and effect is on the body. When you remove them for a little while, you can actually start to see how things were affecting you, especially if you add something back in. Like I tell my clients, when we get to maintenance, you're really going to notice, wow, this food makes me feel poorly. If there's something that isn't jiving well with your metabolic system because you've been avoiding it for a little while, when you start adding that back in, you really can get that sense of, oh, I feel bloated. My bowels are bothering me. The weight gain, of course, is an obvious symptom, but things like rashes and things that are happening to your skin. I mean, your skin is your biggest organ. When something is wrong inside, it manifests on the skin a lot of times. So I find that super interesting. And we do hear that a lot with clients is that they feel like so many of those changes that they didn't even understand were things that were related to what they were eating, that they improve as they're moving through the process.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge for me because like I've been to dermatologists, I've been to allergists, nobody could figure out what it was, or nobody ever mentioned gluten to me. It was never a thing.
Hmm.
So when I finally saw that it was improving, I did a little bit of research on my own and found that that is a thing, that gluten sensitivity can cause rashes. So for probably 10 years of my life, I've been having these various rashes and suffering with them. And all it took was that knowledge and changing how I eat with the help of the program and being able to figure out, hey, this is what this is. Because now if I do have a piece of bread, if I do have something with gluten in, I can see it starts to react again. So it's been life altering for me, really.
That's wonderful. How much weight have you lost so far? And if I can ask, Nicole.
Sure, I've lost about 55 pounds.
Wow.
So I guess I don't need to go into numbers, but yeah, 55 pounds. I've had, and this is, I think, the other great thing about this program is, even if you have a setback, it's very easy to get back into that. So I've learned in the past, at the kind of the beginning of this year, some triggers for me emotionally and what kind of leads me to go off the path. And I'm figuring out how to work with that and adjust those old habits as well. Because, you fall back into it, but this program allows you to also easily get back on track.
Yeah.
Get back to the usual.
Were there any specific tools that you found were helpful for you in getting back on track or overcoming those struggles that came up? Anything specific that you found was really a good tool or just worked well to help you get back on track if something kind of veered off?
There's two things that I remember from either a Facebook post or different things that you guys have said is one of them is do the hard things now and they won't be hard eventually. So that gets me up. I actually walk a little bit every day now. And I know like it hurts a little bit, my knees, everything's kind of achy, but I also know that if I start building on that, that's going to improve. And the other thing that somebody I forget was talking about was how to figure out a craving versus actually being hungry.
Yeah.
And I always use the old tip, if I want to eat something, am I okay with grabbing the apple and the almonds? Does that seem satisfying to me versus, I just want, a piece of junk or whatever. So I try
Right.
to
Because if you're hungry, an apple's gonna do it.
right, right.
Yeah. If you're not
Exactly.
hungry, if you're like, I don't want an apple, then you're not hungry.
And I also find the stevia sweetened chocolate chips are really helpful for me. So when I really have that sweet tooth, I'll throw them in with the almonds and just have like a couple chips with the almonds so that it feels like it's a little bit of a candy treat, but not something.
Right.
So I try to really substitute things. So when I really want something, okay, what can I do within the program that's going to work for me and kind of satisfy whatever that is that I'm going through. So
Right. It gives you a little taste of that flavor that you're craving, but without going overboard or, going off track. So that's
right.
a great strategy. I love to hear that.
Yeah, and then just substituting things. So like I miss the crunching a lot, so but I have found almond crackers and I know there's a recipe in there as well for almond crackers. And so I'll use them like if I'm having tuna fish and I just really want it on a cracker,
Mm.
I'll put that there instead. So it's just finding those alternates. My coach was really helpful. I think it worked with Aaron. I'm sorry, I forget who it was, but finding like soda, and steering me towards Zevia and having those different flavors and getting the Zevia to substitute for that. I still do that. I still have my one Zevia a day every day, as a break from the water, as something else to drink.
I was going up the steps and I was out of breath and I said to my wife, I need to do something. I've lost 100 pounds with inStriv. They were great at inStriv. And I know that they're there for support if I ever need them.
For results like Sam, call now.
That's the other tip, I guess, is the water. I carry a cup of water with me. I think I'm on my third mineral wand right now as far as doing the alkaline. So I drive my husband crazy shaking my water all day. but but it all just really works for me and came together really nicely.
That's great. Were you a water drinker before? Was it hard for you to get into the swing of drinking the water?
No, it really wasn't. I work from home and we have a water cooler here, so I tend to always have water next to me. And I know how bad I feel if I'm not hydrated. Like I can really see, and I can even see it in my husband. I'm like, I can tell him you haven't had enough water today. So I know how important that is. Just, in the beginning, I also had a little bit of trouble with constipation, so the water I know and the apple, I try to do the apple every day because all of that really just helps keep things kind of regular.
That good
So, but
flavor. Mhm.
right. But through especially in the beginning, before I kind of had my routines, just being able to meet with a coach weekly to talk about these things, to get the tips, again, the Facebook page and just seeing what other questions people were asking and learning. And I learned so many products from them too, like people sharing, is this plan approved? I'm like, oh, look at that. That looks great. Different things like it was just really helpful to find all of the alternatives that you can have that won't hurt you.
I love that. Is there any specific moment that you remember as you were going through the program where you realized this program is working, I'm being successful? Were there any particular moments like that, like aha moments where you just realized things are coming together and this is working? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So again, I work from home, so I'm home a lot. I don't see my parents, my in-laws, anybody very often, but when I would see people and their reaction was really gratifying because I wouldn't realize. And my husband sees me every day, so it wasn't like this aha from him that he was noticing, but seeing family. I think maybe a month or two in, like doing the measurements, tracking the measurements from the beginning and then doing the measurements later and realizing how much they had changed. That was a real eye-opening moment for me. So I still, because even if the scale hadn't gone as far as I wanted it to, the measurements showed me that I was really, so doing that was very helpful as well to kind of give me the hope, wait a second, look at this. And of course, all my clothing, the clothing starts getting looser. And I already wore really baggy clothes because I was heavy. So everything's just a little bit looser on me and stuff. And so those three things, like people noticing, made a big difference, and the measurements did.
Yes, that's always so exciting when other people start noticing, and especially people who haven't seen you in a while, and just that progress, that you've made, that it's noticeable to other people. And like you were saying, those non-scale wins that you were noticing, it's not just about the number on the scale, but your clothes are fitting better. Maybe you have to go out and buy some new items of clothing because nothing's fitting anymore. Your measurements coming back down. Are there any other non-scale victories like that you can think of? Maybe things you were able to start doing that you couldn't do before?
Not that I can think of, because again, my knees with the end stage, that really limits me in movement. So it's hard for me to really see those kind of things. I can say last May, I went to my nephew's graduation party and people almost didn't even recognize me.
Oh,
So that was really, you
That's
know,
cool. That
and
had to be a good feeling.
it was, because, it was a really big change that I made, and it was just gratifying to have it acknowledged. But
And I'm sure
um,
it boosts your confidence too,
it
that you
did.
feel more confident and, better in your own skin and all those good things. Yeah.
Right, right. And one thing I've really promised to myself through the program, which I think I've done, is to hold myself accountable. So I've been really open with my husband. My mother-in-law and I are very close, my own mom and friends, even just being very open that this is what I'm doing. This is how much I lost, and giving them permission to kind of be my check-ins, to make sure and hold me accountable to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to get better. So
That's
I've tried to
awesome.
be really open about it.
And what about any kind of setbacks or struggles you had? Is there any time that you really were, ooh, I'm struggling a little bit? And if there was, what did you do to overcome those struggles?
I looked in my closet, nothing fit anymore, and I decided that I needed some help and reached out to inStriv. They've helped me. I decreased my cravings for sweets, and I've lost 37 pounds in 5 months, and I've been able to maintain that weight.
Is there any time that you really were, ooh, I'm struggling a little bit? And if there was, what did you do to overcome those struggles?
There have been. The winter is very difficult for me. One of my kind of self-care things is being outside, being able to sit. I have bird feeders, I have deer that come into my yard. That's kind of my happy place. The winter with the dark was really challenging, not being able to have that, and then having that feeling that I kind of want to soothe myself with food. Again, kind of holding myself accountable and knowing that my husband is on my side with this, he supports me by not bringing in junk food. He doesn't bring in anything that would tempt. I did have some slip ups. I won't lie. DoorDash makes it really easy when you're feeling impulsive just to have something delivered to your door. But I always remember somebody else said, like, each time, like, if you have a setback, it's okay to make a mistake. It's just what you do after that.
The
So that's what I
recovery.
try
You
to tell
got it.
myself.
You got
Right.
it.
It's just, I make sure the next meal, I'm back on track and then again, it's still exploring what is it that I'm really wanting at this moment. So working from home, sometimes, I'm in meetings all day and it's just kind of like this boredom nibble. So, I'll get the carrots and celery and add a little bit of blue cheese maybe to that instead of the old chips and cupcakes or whatever. So it's just really, it's a lot of mindfulness. It's like just being aware you're feeling this because of this
Mhm.
and not reacting to it. And
Right.
I like the 10-minute rule too. Like, okay, I really want this. I'm going to wait 10 minutes and see if I still really want it. And then go from there. And maybe it's another 10 minutes until I can
That's a
start thinking
great
about
tip,
food.
honestly. That's a really good tip to share with everyone is that, yeah, wait 10 minutes and see if you still want it. I could live by that. I should learn to live by that a little better.
And I have this voice in my head sometimes saying, "Oh, don't you want to eat this? Don't," and I just ignore it. Like I'll just whatever. I have a plan. I've learned that kind of prepping on the weekend is really important, making sure I have celery cut up, that I have fruit cut up that I can easily grab and get to. And so it's just a matter of going through and just following what the plan is and not listening to that little evil voice that pops in sometimes.
Sure, sure. And because it's real life eating, that I think that makes a difference too, that it's not a diet. There like sometimes you think of a diet and you think restrictive, restrictive, restrictive. And it's not so much that we're restrictive, it's that we're fueling your body with the right foods and teaching you how to eat as a lifestyle, not so much on a diet. And I think that makes a big difference too. Like you're saying, if you're hungry, you can eat. You don't have to,
Right.
we're not counting every last calorie or, you
Right.
can
You're
have
not starving
something.
yourself. You're not
You
trying to
got it.
starve yourself. And it's just picking the right things. And I really like that generally, I think our society culture is kind of catching up with this. When I really want pizza, I'll get a pizza with the cauliflower crust, which you can barely tell the difference, and there's just a lot of options if you go out to eat and things that make it easier to be able to kind of still socialize, go out to eat and stay on the program.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite salads is from Applebee's. They have a strawberry grilled chicken salad, but they use lemon vinaigrette with the balsamic vinegar, and it's delicious. It's wonderful. So I'll get that a lot as a treat too, because I just think it's really good and it fits in with everything. They put the almonds on it. Like it's just a really good option.
It's
So
healthy, right? You're doing
yeah.
better. And it's funny because sometimes, when you get to that point where you're at, I know if I go out to eat with my significant other and he'll say, "Oh, you're getting a salad," and I can honestly say, I want a salad. It's not just I have to eat a salad. I want that. It tastes good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my husband says all the time, I was never a vegetable eater. I never ate, it was a fight to get me to eat any vegetables. I just never, now I crave them. I have Brussels sprouts in my refrigerator. I would have never had, before starting this program. I always have cucumbers in there. I have the cherry tomatoes. Like those are all my go-to things, a little balsamic glaze, and it's delicious. And you're right, your body learns to crave those kind of things rather than the junk.
Yeah. Well, what advice would you have for someone who maybe is in that original position you were in when you first found us, and just looking for some kind of solution, whether it be an injection or another weight loss program? Just what would you tell that person, in regards to your journey on inStrive? Would you tell them that, they should give it a shot? Like what would be the thing?
Well, 100%. I would say give this program a shot.
I'm Susan, and with the help of inStriv, I'm down 22 pounds. I have managed to cut out 3 medications, all dealing with my diabetes. I have my migraines under control. It's just been a total transformation.
Say give this program a shot. But I think the important thing in which you guys really emphasize, even on the initial talking about it, is, and what we started with today, is find your why. Like really get to what do you want to do, and what do you want, and why are you doing this? So for me, like I said, it was the knees. It was not wanting to do the weight loss drugs, not wanting to go down a medication route for things. It was also, I was doing it for my husband too. It was for me, but it was also for us, because right now I'm very limited in how far I can walk, and that limits the things we can do together. So I think it's really important to have that self-awareness and to really understand your why, and to use that when you're feeling like, hey, I can't do this. And just really, it just takes perseverance, and I go back to what I said before, what seems hard now, do the hard stuff now, make the change now, because in the future, it's not going to be as hard.
Yeah.
I love that. And if you could talk to someone who's been thinking about doing the program but has been on the fence about it, what would you say to them, in terms of in their decision-making process? What would you say to a person who is thinking about doing the program but wasn't quite sure yet if they should commit?
That's a hard one, because I really think each person has to find their own motivation. I'm going to tell you guys, my husband, after watching me for a while, decided he wanted to do it, signed up, paid the money, and never did it. And I haven't been able to figure out how to help him. I think it's like, I don't want to say addiction, but it's like the same mindset. It has to come from the person. Like you have to want to make the change to be able to make the change. But
Right.
if you're ready to make a change, I think inStrive gives you the best tools and the best support to make it possible for you. Just knowing that there's a text or an email away. Like I text you guys or emailed you when I had the flu. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what should I be trying to get in me? Just all of that support makes a big difference, to help prevent slide backs or from stepping off. So I would say to somebody that's thinking about it, I would say just do it. Use the tools. It does work. And like I said, I'm one of those people, I spent years doing everything else, fitness apps, logging things into apps, Weight Watchers, nothing stuck with me because it wasn't natural. This is natural. Like you said, you build it in, it's a way of life. It's not a diet.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. That's really the biggest difference, in my opinion, after 10 years of being here and working with clients, that, we're so different because we're not a diet. We're not teaching you to lose weight on some fad diet that's, going to end up with you just gaining your weight back when you stop following it. It's a very, very different sort of a program, in my opinion.
I agree. 100%. The times that I do slip up and eat an Oreo cookie, I feel so much worse than I do if I eat my chocolate chips and the almonds, so it's just really learning and seeing how you feel different. And it really does change your life. It really does.
Hmm. Well, we are so proud of you, Nicole, and being a part of your journey has been an honor for us. And we're just so thankful that you did find inStrive and that you decided that we were the right fit for you. But I can't wait to see how far you take this thing. I know you're doing amazing things and it's only going to get better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys sincerely. It really has helped me. And it has changed my life. And I'm continuing on the fat loss and I'm hoping to lose more. And again, my why is still to be able to have these knee surgeries, to be able to get back to walking and doing the things that we want to do. And the medical field right now won't consider me. So it's just taking the time to get to where I need to be. And then it will help me. It's helping me in everything. It'll help me with everything. So thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. We're so glad that for any difference we could make for you. Absolutely. And we certainly wish you the best with those knees.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cami, any final thoughts?
Well, we are just so proud of you, Nicole. We're so happy for the success that you've had. We're so happy that you're part of our inStrive family, and you will always be part of the inStrive family, even long after losing all the weight and getting your knees back on track. So we're just so happy to be working with you, and you can always reach out to us if questions come up or you need more support along the way. On your journey. We're just so happy and proud to have been able to work with you and be a small part of that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I sing your praises to anybody that asks and I talk to. So
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. That
I
means the
highly
world.
recommend you. I highly recommend it. So
Oh, that really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much. And Nicole, again, thank you for joining us today on the podcast. And to anyone listening out there who does have an interest in potentially exploring inStrive, we would encourage you to give us a call. Go on our website, reach out to us through Messenger on Facebook, whatever platform works for you. If you get a hold of our team, we will help you schedule a free, no obligation consultation so you can learn what your journey with inStrive would look like. Won't cost you a thing to learn more, guys. And I would highly encourage you, if you've been thinking about it, now's the time. Make that call. And, like Nicole said, before you know it, you're on a whole new path that you weren't even sure you could get to before. So make that call, guys. And I appreciate all of our listeners. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of the inStrive Fat Loss Podcast. Once again, thank you to our guest, Nicole. And of course, always Dr. Atwater, such an amazing contributor. Thank you for joining me today. And we'll see you next time, guys.